I think it's better than 95% of the New York slices I've had. I lived in New York for 9 years. I tried a lot of pizza. I think it's better. It's one of the best New York style slices I've ever had. Welcome back to the number one Akiya podcast in the world. The besties are back. Our last besties podcast together before Take leaves on his trip, and we have to do these remotely over Zoom, but this, for now, still together in the same room.
Recording live from my parents' home in California. Joey's been staying here for the past week-ish, I think, so far.
Yeah, about a week.
How's California treating you?
I was thinking about it last night. Am I still jet lagged? Maybe. I think I can ride out the, I'm jet lagged excuse for like 2 weeks.
I wake Joey up every morning. I'm just like, Joey, sauna. I like preheat the sauna. We wake
it's early,
wake
8 a.m.
Wake in sauna. We just sent off our other bestie, Eric. He came to visit us for a couple days. But Joey, last time we recorded a Dear Diary series, I believe it was in Indonesia. Where have you been since that last podcast?
Definitely flashbacks of waking up early in Indonesia when you wake me up for the sauna here. We were doing 5 a.m. wake-ups.
Joey, it's Dawn Patrol.
Yeah. Where have I been since then? Right. So after the Indonesia surf trip, I went to Otaru in Hokkaido for like 7-8 days. And I had a mission. For those listeners of the podcast, they probably know I'm not the biggest fan of cold weather places. So why in the world is Joey going to Otaru, arguably one of the colder places in Japan?
We just bought a property in Otaru. We bought a duplex. I don't know. It's like a one building with two identical layouts on the second and third floor, based in Nagasaki. Wait, what's the city called, or like area?
Nagasaki neighborhood Otaru. Of Otaru. Yep. So we're in contract. So it's not in our name yet. We're in contract.
Yeah.
For this property, number 6, Akiya number 6 for us.
Doku.
We are purchasing this with Rio, one of the agents that we work with for our Amart direct purchasing process. If you want to buy a house in Japan, we have a great purchasing process for that. And Rio is one of our all-star agents. His business, Nostal Homes, helps people Airbnb the properties that they buy in Japan as well. And he also property manages. We're going in with Rio on this property.
First collab project. We found this, and I don't remember how much we talked about this. Just going to say it again. One of our customers was looking at Otaru up in Hokkaido, again, about an hour away from Niseko. One of the hot spots we're seeing, especially amongst the Australian snowboarders and skiers.
Otaru's hot, whether I like it or not.
Otaru is hot. Or not. And one of our customers, we were helping through a transaction, and the seller's agent approached us, said, hey, we have this off-market deal. We went back and forth. We really tried to negotiate hard. Unfortunately, I think the agent knew what he had. So the condition of the place was pretty good. Joey, describe the scenery when you went. How was the property?
I think it was more the seller knew what he had,
yeah.
And we negotiated a tiny bit. We got maybe like $2,000.
It was actually a real estate company that owned it, or something, or it was a business that owned it, or something. It wasn't a note.
Someone once gave us that advice too. Like when we bought the Tama house, when it's a business selling, they are much less willing to negotiate with you. For them, it's like, they've got a spreadsheet, they need to hit this profit margin, and so like, if you offer lower than that, they're just like, no, can do.
So we did negotiate a little bit off the price, but
$2,000. Yeah.
It never hit the market, which actually is cool. So another off-market deal for us. Ka-ching.
Ka-ching.
Property itself, I was Zoom toured in. It was late in California, but you set the scene, Joey. How is the actual property itself, conditions, neighborhood, stuff like that?
So let me set the scene with Otaru in general. Mm-hmm. So I can't, again, probably listeners know I'm not very excited about the colder weather places in Japan, but I did go to Otaru for 7-8 days. And let me just say, first of all, the train ride from so you fly into Chitose Airport, which is like the Sapporo City Airport, and then it's about an hour on the train from there. Fantastic train ride. So it goes along the kind of northern coastline there of the Hokkaido island. The train is literally like right on the coast. One side of the train, you kind of get this cliff face, and on the other side, you see this kind of very cold water ocean view with lots of, you go through the, towns dotted along it. You see lots of kind of islands off the coast there. It was very cool. The train ride was like a nice welcome, and it's fast. So I didn't mind that at all. Otaru City, colder. So I was there, when did I get there? First week of June or so. It was quite cold. There were some warm days as well, but sweater and jacket I put on my first day. I walked around the town. It is smaller than Beppu. I think when I looked it up, it's about the same amount of people. It just feels like a smaller town than Beppu. I was there off season, so definitely the peak is during the winter. A lot of great skiing around this neighborhood, but there was lots of tourists even during the off season. It seemed like a lot of Asian tourists, Korean, Chinese tourists were there checking it out. There's like an old town of Otaru that's all these brick and stone buildings. They had a big fire there in the 1920s, 1930s. I'm not sure exactly when. And I think as a city planning, they said, no, we're going to build a lot more stone buildings. And there are a lot of them. I knew Hokkaido kind of had this stone brick history to it. I didn't know it was everywhere. Otaru, it's literally everywhere. These very cool stone Japanese warehouse type buildings. Very cool.
They look so cool. I was like, were you able to, are there any on Akiya that
I have not? So back to the seller's agent who got us this off-market deal, I did say, I was like, if you ever see, I was like, how often do you see them come on the market? And he was like, every once in a while they'll come on the market.
Okay.
Usually for rent. And I did see one for rent. But it was in a commercial zone, and the rental advertisement was saying great for ramen shop or, nail salon or kind of any kind of small commercial business. I did get to see the inside of them. There are some, especially in the kind of the tourist district, a lot of the shops and stuff are these stone buildings that are converted into new shops, and you can see the inside. They're cool, stone, and then they've got these kind of big wooden beams for the ceiling. They're very cool. It's very unique Japanese brick stone style.
Okay, Otaru off season. Good to know. Weather is cooler. Joey went straight from like tropical 100% humidity, 85 degrees in Mentawais in Indonesia to cold, dry Otaru?
Colder, drier than Indonesia, but I wouldn't particularly say it was like dry weather there. I would say more kind of like Nova Scotia.
Okay, give me the highlights. I know there's some potential food upsides.
Okay. Food was banging, and I arrived like, apparently someone, I didn't verify this on the internet or anything, but someone told me, a cafe owner said the uni season, sea urchin season, he was like, it just opened like uni 2 or 3 days ago. He was like, you're at the best time for uni. And they have a lot of seafood there. So I was getting these big bowls with a lot of fish on top, kind of toro, like the medium fatty tuna bowls, and then big hunk of uni on top of that. I was paying tourist prices. I still thought the food was fantastic. Maybe I paid about 3,000 yen for like a big bowl.
$20.
Yeah. Compared to that place that we're going in Roppongi in Tokyo, I think that they're charging like 4,000 or 5,000 for that. So to go down to $20, so to go to 3,000 from 5,000 yen. And I think the quality was better.
Yep.
And like a lot of uni. The seafood was fantastic. I went back to this tourist. It's a tour. I mean, it's a tourist trap. So like, there's this one market in Otaru called the Sankaku Market. It's right next to the train station.
Triangle Market, huh?
Triangle Market, and every shop there, it's fishmongers, but also they have restaurants attached to it. Maybe like a Tsukiji, which is the fish market in Tokyo, of Otaru. But every single shop there had a Chinese-speaking employee, and they all had like little badges on their shirt, like with the, I speak Chinese kind of thing. And so I'm just like, okay, this is a touristy, trappy area. They get a lot of Chinese tourists here. The food was still good. I didn't mind the tourist trap. Like, it was that good.
Okay.
On top of that, I will just say there's other places there's a uni only restaurant too. I didn't go to that, but I almost went to it. It's a uni like senmon restaurant. Didn't get to try that. Ice cream was also really good. Hokkaido's really well known for its dairy, but the very surprising 10 out of 10 restaurant, maybe 11 out of 10 restaurant I went to was a Neapolitan style pizza place in Otaru. So good. This was like one of the best pizzas I've had in a long, long time. Really good. Otaru food scene, unhinged.
People are going to be raising the eyebrow with the pizza. But Joey knows his pizza, I'd say, right? Your parents used to live in Naples?
We used to, my family used to live in Naples, so I've tried a lot of like from the source Neapolitan pizza. And then I lived in New York, arguably also claims to have some of the best pizza in the world, very different styles. But this was Neapolitan style. Very good.
Curveball.
Yeah.
Otaru pizza, unknown, but wow. Food game, it seems like that's most of the big upside. I know you did get sick for some of that time as well and saw the house, but yeah, keep going with the journey here.
Okay, so the one thing food seemed lacking, I did find, is like, so there's cafes in Otaru. I'm very much like, I like to go to a cafe and do some work. We're running the website, so I like to go to a cafe and do some work. Starbucks, a lot of people do complain there's not a lot of Wi-Fi at cafes in Japan, and that is
Tough
definitely
to work at cafes in Japan, right?
tough to work. And all the cafes in Otaru are that kind of Japanesey style where some may advertise they have Wi-Fi, but it's like
pizza toast.
Yeah, pizza toast. It doesn't really feel like a place you want to sit and work at. And none of them had espresso machines, except for, shout out to, I'm going to not remember the name. I think it's called like Cafe B3 or Cafe B, or there's definitely a B.
Okay. Espresso machine.
They had an espresso machine, and it's run by Australian couple. Wife is Japanese. The dude is Australian. Very, very friendly guy. Definitely check this place out. I would go back there because I wanted the espresso drinks. They speak English. They've got a small kitchen there for good food. He's very excited to talk about how naive. So I mentioned to him, I was like, oh, I'm checking out a property later today. Very excited to tell me how naive I am about buying property in Otaru. Again, it's about the snow. Like the same situation with Miyoko. Like the snow is no joke in these places. And I believe he probably sees lots of skiers each year saying they're going to buy property. But, as we know, there's lots of hurdles to buying property in Japan. So maybe he kind of thought I was run-of-the-mill buyer here, but I was actually on number 6 property.
Little does he know, we got the infrastructure set up. We got the agents. We know how to help people buy.
Yeah, his big thing. I can't remember his name or the cafe name. Cafe B something. Really nice. Go check it out if you're in Otaru. But his big thing was like snow. Like snow is no joke. Like you really need to put. So there's 2 types of snow removal, or two steps of the process. It's one, it's getting it off your house and getting the driveway shoveled. But then he's like, you can't just dump it. There's no yards here. You can't just dump it into the street. You actually have to pay someone to like load it in their back of their truck and then take it somewhere else too. Is the other piece of the process, which we didn't have to do in Miyoko.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to the meat here. The house itself, and on that, I know I'll set the scene from my understanding. 3 floors. Bottom floor is like a concrete type basement riser for the house foundation. So we've recorded a podcast with Matt Guy, very, very similar type setup. So there's think of it like could fit a Prius maybe in the garage under space.
Maybe giri
okay.
Prius.
Okay, so bottom floor is kind of storage, concrete. Then you have the stairs that go up to a 2nd floor, and then we have the 3rd floor, both of which are identical. Joey, what thoughts on the house itself?
Yeah, so first off, I think one of the most exciting things about Otaru is cool and very close to ski. I think that's one of the biggest selling factors on this house. But the exciting thing about the house itself is, as Take mentioned, the 2nd floor and 3rd floor are identical copies of each other, and they have separate entrances. So here's some possibilities. Let me just rattle a couple off.
Let's hear it.
Double the Airbnb income. If you wanted to Airbnb both of these, this is an Airbnb-able zone.
Ryokanable or 365 or 180?
365. So this is a Ryokanable property. So you can double the Airbnb income, and you just kind of like hit the 1st floor, 2nd floor, same design kind of setup would work really well. Other ideas, buy it with a friend, you and a friend. Have your own personal spaces. If you're both ski bums and you each have your own kind of a flat in Otaru, pretty great. Another idea would be using one as a personal office to one of the there's a lot of visa stuff we can't advise on, but one of the things we keep hearing about when applying for visas is you need a physical office for your business, whether it's a business manager visa or employment visa. So this, and you need a separate entrance for that physical office. So again, you could have your own living space, and then you have your physical office, and you've checked off one of the boxes in getting a visa for Japan.
Yeah, I think personally, I imagine someone coming in, living in one floor, and renting out the other floor, or like maybe having in-law units or something. The property itself seems like it has insulation. It is in very good condition. Obviously needs a little bit of updating with like maybe the furnace and stuff, but it looks pretty banging for...
Yep. So some of the things that we extensively tested, me and Rio, when Rio came up for a day and we checked out the house, and then we hit a sauna and got some uni. But yeah, so we were jumping all over the floor, trying to see if there's any squishy spots, checking out the ceilings on the second floor, first floor, checking for leaks to see, do we see any water damage? That's another classic thing we're always looking for, how, you get an idea of the condition of the roof. I think it just needs a little TLC. Like you said, flooring, wallpaper, dated, bathroom, a little dated, kitchen, a little dated, the new tatami mats. The first floor has a kerosene heater. Second floor needs it installed. No ACs yet in the units. Again, it's Hokkaido though. Maybe you can just get away opening the windows in the summer, but probably want AC as well. I think that's all it needs.
Cool. So as some may know, we finished we're in the process of selling our first Amart seal of approval in Nagasaki. Again, if you applied to that, thank you very much. Things are going well here. We have a nice family suited to buy that. This is going to be our second. We might have one more actually in between, but second Amart seal of approval property. Our goal here, kind of similar to that first Nagasaki, this spot is very legit. We are going to do a little bit of updating, but actually take it a step further, I believe. As we mentioned, Leo is one of our Airbnb Minpaku licensing specialists. So we are going to get this property licensed. We are going to update it. We're going to furnish it, I think. We're going to take photos. So it's really actually a turnkey investment. Whether you want to live in it, you want to rent it, you want to live and rent it. Our goal here is to take it one step further and actually have it be actually ready as a running kind of Airbnb business.
Turnkey as best as we can do it.
Turnkey business.
Turnkey business.
Yeah.
Interesting. And
with a deal managing it when you're not there.
Hopefully chuck a car with it as well. This neighborhood, I do believe you need a car. The grocery store is like the grocery store is like 2 blocks away. It's like a 2-minute walk.
I checked the ramen walkability. A lot of ramen shops.
Yep, there's ramen around there too. Masakai, if anybody's interested, the Masakai area of Otaru.
We are planning to probably launch this in the fall. We definitely are trying to do this before the winter season starts. I think Joey and I will go up maybe September, October. We are, I think, closing end of this month. So probably when this podcast is out is when we will have keys in hand. So crazy how fast things move. The snowball just keeps coming. Like right when we were done with the property, another cool project comes up. And I think I'm personally excited on taking, again, the seal of approval one step further and seeing, like, can we get this place furnished and really, really ready to go?
We're trying not to be so scatterbrained, and like we're already talking about what's next after Otaru, and we're barely even started Otaru. So sometimes it does feel like we're a little bit all over the place. But I think definitely we're focusing on this Otaru property for the time being.
How are you feeling? I'm gonna take this a different way now. I know a lot of crazy shit is happening in the world right now. I know are we on the brink of World War III? Trump tariff stuff. From our perspective, we've seen some ups and downs in demand, but overall, like to my understanding, things are up and to the right, or things are moving fast with Japanese real estate, specifically Akiya's now. Like there was a slowdown in, I guess, early Q2, but now it's like, something clicked on, and I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah, we'll see if the trend continues, but definitely like right around when Liberation Day, when Trump was talking about all his tariffs, that kind of slowed stuff down. We're assuming that was the reason. Kind of slowed stuff down for maybe a month to 2 months. And now we're seeing kind of like a banner month coming up for June. So things are feeling back.
It's interesting that tourism has not slowed down in Japan. That has been like a really
constant
thing. I know there's been ups and downs in the exchange rate, but we talked a little bit about it with Nin in our last podcast on like timing the market, whatnot. But from our anecdotal customer, kind of like how many people we're helping, there is a little bit more of an urgency. Talked about it, I think maybe with Eric in our last podcast, but like it seems like people have gotten past the part of like, hey, you can buy a house in Japan for cheap. Now it's like, how do I buy a house in Japan?
Yeah, I mean, you just shared an article with me yesterday from Lynn Alden, fantastic macroeconomist out there. She writes a lot about Bitcoin. It's becoming more mainstream. Lynn Alden's, I'm not sure if she does, I know she has a book, but if she does more of Substack, I'm not sure how people hear her most, and she's on YouTube too. But like her to be talking about this, she has a huge following.
She puts all these charts and stuff in it, but I think I saw it on X. The big thing was like, is now a good time to buy real estate in Japan? Was like the top comment.
So a lot of people are talking about like, land prices in Tokyo. So That data came out in March, and that's what Lynn was specifically referring to, some chart she put together. And that's the tax assessed value of land in Tokyo. So it's survey data. So I don't know if it's every year they do this survey, but they just kind of evaluate the tax assessed value of land. And the big news was that I think for the fourth year on a row, it's been increasing, was why there was a lot of excitement in March when this data came out, and that's what Lynn is referring to. It's been going down since almost forever, and the past 4 years, it's hockey stick back up.
The bubble has slowly dissipated, I think, right, since the 1990s. But interesting to see. I still don't understand enough about Japan's economic situation, but I know it seems like a house of cards to some degree with all the debt, but...
Actually, if anybody wants to kind of get a better, I'm not going to claim that I fully understood this podcast and can regurgitate it, but Richard Katz, I believe he's like a Tokyo correspondent for the New York Times. He wrote a book recently about why he thinks Japan can't get its rear in gear almost. I thought it was a really good podcast. He talks a lot about how the giant corporations are kind of holding down startups in Japan, and he really sees that as the key. But check out Richard Katz's podcast. I think he did it with Patience Realty.
Yep.
So if you Google for either of those, Patience Realty, Richard Katz, you should find his podcast. It was on SoundCloud.
We should get him on the pod, actually. We should reach out to him.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I guess next steps, what are we doing? It's going to be, it feels like we've been traveling nonstop. So Joey's been traveling. He's posting up at my parents' house for a month and guarding the house. And now I am going to Japan. So I'm going to be going to Tokyo, checking our properties down in Beppu. Oh, our garden in Tokyo looks good.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to Josh, who helped us set up the garden. It looked pretty, because we did it from seed. For the first 6 months, there's nothing, but now it's looking really fantastic. The ground covering, really good. If anybody else is out there looking for a landscaper in Japan, reach out. We can put you in touch with Josh, who helped us out.
Can't forget Linda the legend, our Tama Base Camp property manager. She's been watering it. I'm going to put this as the podcast cover of her dog Odie just sleeping on our lawn. So things are coming up. It's really exciting. Every time we go back to Japan, we see small improvements. We might not be moving as fast as like someone who's on the ground, but like going to be checking out Tokyo property, going to be driving down again to Beppu. We'll be stopping in Osaka to say hi to a couple folks. So I will be in Tokyo. If anyone wants to hang out, shoot me a ping. I'm not sure where I'll be, but would love to meet up. Bringing my fiance and my parents to Japan. So we'll be doing a babysitting. Something actually I don't think I mentioned on the podcast. I found out, Joey, I told you this, like I was talking to my dad. We had bought this place in Tama, and then I was like, hey, Baba, we're taking you to Japan. Where do you want to go? He's like, do you want to see our grandma or your parents' graves? And he's like, yeah, they're in Tama. I was like, what the hell? Like,
where we got the house.
It was right where we got the house. So I'm taking my dad to see our Tama house for the first time. I'm going to have him speak to our neighbors and stuff, make sure
that'll be perfect.
That's gonna do well. But
our neighbors are quite old, so I think the kind of old person to old person will go down well.
Will work well. And then we're going to go up to Karuizawa, because I've never been to Karuizawa. I hear a lot of good things. My dad just keeps going like, Elon Musk has a house in Karuizawa.
John Lennon's favorite hotel in the world, Karuizawa.
So any listeners, if you have any recommendations on Karuizawa, I will be taking my parents there. So a lot of cool things. I'm excited. Any recommendations from you, Joey? Things I should do what's your top recommendation? Either Tokyo, Beppu, Osaka, or Karuizawa? Any?
Tokyo, Beppu. You know some of my recommendations. The Sunflower Ferry.
Of course I'm going to Sunflower.
Osaka, Beppu. Yeah. Everyone should try to take ferries in Japan. They're fantastic. There's an Otaru one to Niigata that I think I want to try too. Tama, if you're spending time in Tama, I think like that onsen with the cafe and the blazing fast Wi-Fi. That's great.
Tokyo. For someone who's listening, what's your favorite restaurant in Central Tokyo?
So I was just about to give a Beppu rec, and then we can
give me Beppu. Yep.
There is a Amazake latte.
Okay.
Really good. Take your fiance to the Amazake latte. It's called Stairs Cafe. I'll send it to you later.
Cafe. Okay.
Stairs Cafe. Amazake latte. They have very strange hours. Maybe not strange hours, but closed a lot of the time. But you'll figure it out.
Okay, Tokyo restaurant or coffee shop?
Okay, there's one that I see everybody posting, but I can't remember the name of it. Tokyo, unfortunately, I'm like Starbucks guy in Tokyo. I just have not had good luck with good cafes to work at.
Yeah.
Whole lot to talk about there. But there are some places I've seen people posting recently. Tokyo restaurant. What do I do? Actually, okay, I got pizza on the brain. That pizza slice shop
by Saunas.
By Saunas,
Okay.
and there's a second one on like Katz Street in Shibuya. It's really good. It's a New York style slice. I think it's better than 95% of the New York slices I've had. I lived in New York for 9 years. I tried a lot of pizza. I think it's better. It's one of the best New York style slices I've ever had.
All right. Well, I will go check them out. I think there's some good burger spots and pizza spots and ramen spots I'm excited to go to.
Henry's Burger was pretty good too.
Claimed as top burger by my friend Scooter. Right? Is that the one? Daikanyama?
Yeah, in Henry's Burger. One last thing, Japanese wrestling. I went to go see Japanese wrestling last time I was in Tokyo, like it's not the WWE of Japan, but like a B grade WWE. It was so much fun. It really is like the throwing people into the chairs and like, I don't know, the crowd gets really into it. So like a wrestler will come out and I guess the wrestlers all have like a specific chant or like tagline, and like everybody in the audience knew that chant for every one of the wrestlers. They sell food and drink there too, and merch. It was actually a lot of fun. Japanese wrestling.
I literally asked Gaga that. I was like, "Hey, do you want to go Mexican wrestling in Japan?" And she's like, "Absolutely not."
Yeah,
so
it's like the Mexican, like Nacho Libre kind of style wrestling. It was fun.
I want to go, but I'm not going to go by myself. But all right, man, I'm excited. Look forward to meeting some folks out there. Hopefully, it's not hot as balls. And last plug, Amart new feature rolled out to our subscribers. We have sold data, or what we classify as sold data.
Sold data.
So this data is not going to be actual sales data. So here in the US, for example, we have MLS that tracks the sales data. Japan does not really track that sales data. So we use the best, to our knowledge, when listings get removed, we track that price. Whether it might not always be 100% accurate, but luckily sales transactions in Japan tend to plus or minus maybe 10, 15%. So we're doing our best to kind of make a Zestimate equivalent in Japan. But Joe, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, we're working. I mean, that's kind of like the goal we're working towards. That that Zillow's estimate was just, it took the world by storm. Is if we can start working towards building something like that, it'd be really cool. As Taki mentioned with the sales data, it is not the selling price. This is the house, the price the home was listed at the time that the listing was removed from the market. So just a very technical caveat there, but it's probably a very good proxy for the price that the house sold at. This data exists nowhere else in Japan. If anyone can find it, I'm very curious to look at it, but it is not like you can't go on Sumo or At Home or any of these other websites and find sold data. In fact, the links that if you look at any of the images and you save that link, that the images get taken down. They get deleted off whatever CDN that they're storing the images in. So sold data is just kind of non-existent in the market. Maybe Rains is storing this, but you can't.
Some of the websites like @BB, you need to have like realtors access to access some of these database sites. It's not clean or organized, the data too. So I think we are taking some time, and over a couple of years, we might get some really relevant data. So as a user, if you are looking to purchase something, click that sold toggle, and it will show you stuff that has been previously listed. I think this is a really, really good way to look at comps in the area, see if you're plus or minus in the right range. Again, we've seen some appreciation in a couple areas, so you might actually see like, hey, that was a really good deal a year ago. I should have gone for it. So we're working on a couple of cool charts and stuff to try to have people maybe quote unquote time the market better. But sold data is one of our first ones that we're launching. Kudos to you, Joey. I know we have a lot of features coming out soon.
Yeah, next is going to be save search, like save your search for later so you don't have to keep filling out the filters, and also email alerts for those save searches.
Coming in hot. All right, Joey. Saratoga, California. Last podcast for a little bit. It's been a good run. I'm now the one going on the travels.
All right. See you on the flip side.